Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again. We're here taking a look at game number 2 of paiN Gaming facing off against Team Liquid in this best of 3 series. Already paiN Gaming up 1 game over Liquid, who, at least for me, kind of came in as the favorites. I'm not sure if it was super heavy favorites, but this paiN roster looks good.
Yeah, they gave Liquid a thwomp in game number 1. It was not close. But different direction already here for Liquid with the draft. Last game, I believe they first phased the IO Morph. This time around, they're going to open up with a Disruptor. Bans are similar. There was a Lich and a Doom in the last game. Obviously, both of those are going to be taken out. And they actually first phase banned Timbersaw. Okay, with the mag pick, that makes more sense.
Okay.
I was going to say, Timber is one of those heroes where it's really hard to have a good Timber game if you don't pick him really late. You know, we talked about Underlord and how you want him to be like the second to last or last pick in your draft if you really want him to have a game. Timber, I feel, is sort of the same. But if you're going to open up with a hero like Mag, then Timber is very good against him. So it does kind of make a little bit more sense to me. I'm kind of curious as to what direction paiN are going to take here, though, opening their Mag first pick, because you have to assume it's going to be farm priorities somewhere.
Right. Yeah, definitely. It's not the days of the 4 mag or whatever it is. I also want to point out real quickly to all you fine folks out there that are keeping track of what's happening in the other matches. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear it, then just don't listen to me, which is probably for the best anyways. But so far, Beast Coast is up 1 game over Chaos. So we have the 2 South American teams that are both up a game over probably what would be their favorite opponents. And then you compare that to what's going on earlier today also, and now you've got very close to the 2 North American organizations being down in the lower bracket of these GSL groups, while the South American squads are taking over at the top. Obviously, still a lot of dough to be played, both in this game and the other one that's going on, but not a bad start for SA.
Yeah, I think they've always had really skilled players. It was more just about the leadership, I think, that made them struggle, like a lot of the time, like having an experienced captain, good shot callers, stuff like that. And I also think that these types of metas favor them. There's a lot going on, outposts, contesting them, getting your jungle items, getting bounty runes, taking objectives. There's a lot of things going on all the time. And I feel like the South American players, they thrive on like fast-paced, chaotic games.
Yeah.
And I think that paiN is a really good example of that. Last game, they got their really solid laning phase, and then they just freaking pedaled to the metal, and they never took their foot off the gas the entire game, just in at every single opportunity. And that's a great way to play this patch currently.
Playing it with those types of heroes too that help to enable that also, and in a style of going for that diffusal blade, then back for the drums afterwards. I want to know like the stats on how many times you've had like diffusal and then going back for drums on Slark. I feel like it's usually the other way, or maybe I'm just crazy. But I like that style. Anyways, we do have that Wyvern picked up afterwards for the mag, so maximum team fight right here from paiN Gaming already, and Liquid trying to come up with an answer. They've got the ABBA to be able to purge off the ulti when he gets the stun and then save somebody else with the Aphotic Shield, hopefully. We'll see if it works out for him.
Yeah, it's a nice little response. Other heroes of mention that can do similar things are like Tidehunter.
Right.
But I think ABBA maybe has a bit more flexibility in terms of what he offers to like long-term engagements. Tidehunter is more of the one-button wonder where you hit Ravage, and if the heroes don't die, well, all of a sudden, crap, we're in a lot of trouble. Mars. Is this the first Mars at DreamLeague?
I will double check real quickly. Tell me about it, though.
I love this hero, man. I think he is ridiculously underrated. His ultimate did get nerfed. Obviously, they nerfed the damage on it, and people just kind of stopped playing him. But after they nerfed his damage, they buffed his E like 3 different times, gave him an active, which allows you to basically walk away from people while not turning your back, which is also like very, very powerful because it also redirects projectiles. So 70% of the time, an auto attack that would have hit someone else near you, if they're standing like, correctly behind you, is just going to hit you instead. And it also works for things like tower split shot. So if you fortify a tower at tier 2 and it starts split shotting, sometimes Amar is just going to get hit with every single shot instead. And he's obviously mitigating that damage with passive. Yeah, so there's a lot of things about him. He's also very good at like area control. There's some heroes that are similar, like Wyvern, Tidehunter, things like that, where you really don't want to be clumped together because you don't want to be stuck in the AoE. But the difference about Mars versus these types of heroes is that he keeps you in that area for 6 or 7 seconds once he gets to level 18 if you don't have a BKB. And that, in a lot of cases, is just as good as being disabled because
Right.
you can't run away out of the arena if you don't have a BKB or some way of like, flying over and things like that. So this hero offers a lot. He's also very flexible on his items. He can go for like the physical damage Deso build. He can go for blink BKB. Like he can do a lot of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with it. The Willow is a very common pairing with the Mars. You obviously get to terrorize into the arena of blood. You make them run into the wall. They take a lot of damage. Pretty good synergy. Lots of damage as well coming in from the Willow combo. It's a nice lineup.
Well, to me, the thing that's really interesting also is that it's like it's not just synergy in terms of like, all right, it's great to have the Willow and the Mars together, but also like the answer to those heroes is BKB. And now you have two different BKB piercing disables through the first two picks of paiN, which also seemed just like a really cool concept. There was one other Mars game that got played so far at DreamLeague. It was Secret playing against Vici, and Secret won with the Mars. So
Okay.
100% win rate so far on this patch. Kind of cool. Like to see it. Lich is still the most played hero so far at DreamLeague. 10 matches, 60% win rate. Yeah, it's kind of a cool little start to this one. It feels like there's some heroes that are being played a lot. Venge, definitely one of them. We haven't seen a Venge as of yet. But Disruptor, the other big one, as we can see first phase here. And that one's got an 83% win rate. So they're doing it.
Oh, yeah, Disruptor's crazy. I went right then. How many games is that, by the way?
6 games for Disruptor.
Okay.
So it's going to be 7th.
All right. So the Naga Siren, they don't have the best team at dealing with Naga, but they do have a core pick if they want. So it could still be, like the 3 Mars, the 5 Wyvern, the 4 Willow, the mid mag, or the safe lane mag, and then they can just adjust their draft if they want to go back for like we saw Leshrac earlier. Who else? I still don't hate like SF or anything like that, and they do have the overall 10th pick for paiN. So no matter what, they're going to be able to at least get a lane counter. What are Liquid scared of right now? They do need a hero that deals with Naga, so they're going to go for the TA ban, and they're going to pick the Lesh. Okay, so they deny the Lesh pick themselves. And they also ban a hero that would have laned very well against the Lesh. So Liquid were kind of thinking in the same vein as I was, that that's probably the hero that's going to kill the Naga illusions the best and also allows them to push. Now, what else could they do? They could go for like some all-in pushy kind of thing. Never mind, it's banned. Okay, ignore me, Lyrical. Just completely
No
ignore me.
problem.
I was gonna say Lone Druid, but then I'm like, they first face banned it. Let's see, what other options we got here? A lot of stuff can lane against Leshrac, to be honest. He's not like a super dominant laner. Right. He kind of just farms really fast once he gets his 6.
So you think right now it's more push oriented is what they're lacking as opposed to like some low cooldown initiation.
What I was saying is that would be a way to address it, because
Okay.
Naga can't really walk into fights that early against this much like AoE damage. Like paiN have a lot of AoE. So getting a hero that would solidify their 5-man would allow them to play a fast game that Naga doesn't want to play. They could still try to pick a hero that solves the issue of the illusions and also has a good matchup against the Lesh, but I'm not really sure what hero does that right now. There's another method, which I'm not a huge fan of, which is like Queen. Okay, but they're going to go for the Ember, so that is a hero that deals with the Naga. And it will lane just fine against the Leshrac. So they found their solution. This hero is also really good at setting up fights, sets up Spear, sets up the Brambles. There's a lot of synergy here going on paiN's lineup. And then for Liquid, they have a lot better catch, I would say, than their previous lineup. And this time they don't really have to worry about a Blink Dagger because they have the Disruptor. So as long as they just have vision of the hero, they should be able to get kills. So it should be a much closer game, in my opinion, than the first game.
All right, well, we'll see.
I hope it is.
Me too. I'm not gonna lie. That last one was a little bit rough to watch. I think that the Ember's kind of cool too, because I was thinking something along the lines of like a Death Prophet maybe, and then what you're talking about of like all in pushing, or maybe something like a Tiny and you just try and like play around him setting up fights or stuff. But this to me feels like it's that type of answer where yes, you can play aggro and make things happen around the map with the Ember, but you don't have that like limit on how late can your draft go. Like, yes, still Naga Siren in the late game is going to be really difficult to deal with, but I think that Ember in some ways can deal with those illusions somewhat.
Yeah,
We'll
he
see.
absolutely can. I think it's the DP is a nice answer too, though. Like that line of thought is still good because you have a ton of AOE control already. Like you have the
Right.
curse set up, you have the arena to set up. There's a lot of things to keep heroes in your ult, and that's kind of what DP really likes because she lanes well against most anything.
Right.
There's not a lot of heroes that just shut her out of the lane, so you're more worried about like what synergy you would have the team. But yeah, I like that idea too. I think it could have worked.
We'll see what they end up going for. Insania with the I'm going to make you feel bad build. 6 mangoes and a Q. That's all a disruptor needs in this world. And we'll see how King RD deals with that.
Yeah, the offlane Mars is it's very hard to kill because Spear. Oh, I also forgot to mention, not regarding Spear, but God's Rebuke actually got a slow put on it, like 1.5 seconds slow, and it's 40%. So it actually sets up your Spear if you want to use it that way.
Okay.
So you kind of have like an auto combo. If you get hit by the bulwark and there's or the rebuke rather, and they're standing in path of a tree, they're just like 100% gonna get hit.
Yeah. It does feel like, at least for now, paiN are setting up for another tri-lane. We have seen instances where this ends up being, you know, a tri-lane just for first blood, and then they rotate out, but could be maybe a little bit of the same type of thing that we saw in the last game if Liquid aren't careful.
I don't know if they really want to tri-lane with the mag. This guy wants levels. And I don't think he's too concerned about an Abba Rubik lane. Like if I'm Mag, I have like almost 800 HP. I got my double sets of tangos. I got myself. I'm feeling all right. I'm looking at this lane and going, yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of farm.
Are you getting any lag there, by the way?
Nope, don't think so.
Okay. Hopefully that's not a big concern. But yeah, it's kind of interesting too, because I guess that's the thing that you identified in the last game is one of the big problems for Liquid was that the lane that they lost super hard was the lane that dealt with the Slark. And in this instance, there's not that same worry of, oh my god, you know, this Abba Rubik is going to destroy our game if they get crazy farmed or whatever.
No one's ever said that ever in
No.
Lyrical, I promise you. Man, this Abaddon Rubik's really owning us. That just doesn't... It may be in the lane for a little while, but then it kind of just... You need your team with those heroes.
Totally. We do have the early aggro trade-off here. Bramble's already skilled. Does not manage to connect onto anybody. And Tyke is just going to move on in and do the body block. Although it looked like he was a little bit off the mark because it spawned anyways. So that wasn't great, but all good. Top lane, Mars, Wyvern facing off against the constant spam coming from Insania, who's already consumed one of those mangoes. Is going to keep the pressure on as King RD just going to salve up and back out.
Yeah, this is one of those things you're really happy to do as a disruptor, is just trade your mana for the enemy team's health regen. So that way, your Naga can get his free waves, and then eventually he just goes off into the jungle. You can soak a lane for 6, and then you look for some fights after the fact. They do need to be a little careful, though. This disruptor can die very easily in this lane. Like one Arctic burn into a spear, and you're done.
Yeah, and does have level 2 now on King RD. So too does Mickey. He's going to spear through those creeps. I mean, it's going to be on cooldown for a little bit. Only has the one mango on King RD. Keep our eyes on that, see how it works out. Bottom lane getting a little bit aggro there, but they drop for a split up top instead.
He actually skilled Glimpse. He will be trading his own life, though, for the Wyvern, but he gives his core the first blood gold, so I think that Insania is going to be happy with that. And that also means that he gets to spend his gold immediately because the support's going to be TPing right back to lane. So now he's going to get his band of Elven skin. I always want to call it a slipper, man, every time.
The slip. Uh-oh. Top lane again, Insania. Taking some damage there.
Would have been a big kill. Like, he just TP'd back, so they were going for the kill in hopes that if they do get him, he won't be able to immediately return to lane, and that allows, like, a free pull, and it also allows them to, like, stop the Naga from farming for a little bit longer.
Baiting the courier again. They're not going to be able to find it there. Yeah, Boxy definitely causing some issues down here bottom. But not the biggest worry in the world. We haven't talked much about the mid lane so far, but 19-4 on the Lesh versus 14-1. Kind of even. Not a huge lead right now for the Leshrac.
Yeah, I'd say he's like very slightly favored, but as the heroes get higher level, the Ember is going to start playing in a different way than what the Lesh is capable of. You know, really fast rotations, being able to TP react and kill heroes. Is he dead here?
Looks like it. 4-4 got the
Mango Glimpse. He can Mango Glimpse him if he wants.
He's walking. Throws out the Thunder Strike instead, and that's going to stop the pressure.
I thought he was going to like Mango Glimpse him and then South, because that way he like wouldn't have to go back to base. But maybe he's going to stack first. That's a hallmark of a good 5, boys. Stacks on the way back.
Nice. And that'll be really helpful. Lesh, obviously, one of those heroes that can make use of that real easy. But you can see that long walk back home. Quakefoot bottles up an Arcane Rune of all things.
Ooh, that's what feels good, man. If he gets 6 with that, it's like so efficient to be able to Pulse Nova with an Arcane Rune. You get so much farm.
Looks like right now there's kind of winning all the lanes. Not substantially, but a little bit there at least.
Well, I would say that paiN are more of a level-reliant team than an item-reliant team.
Okay.
Like, Ember wants levels, Mars wants 6, Wyvern wants 6, Willow wants 6. Like, all these heroes really, really just want EXP. Bottom, HFN getting clubbed here.
Taiga is as well. They're going to have another little trip to the Shadow Realm. Taiga, does he manage to get caught? Not able to get vision. Hide and seek behind the trees. Ooh, in the meantime, picking up Bounty Rune there. But King RD is going to take a lot of damage from this one. They have Mango Glimpse if they need to use it. But they might not even need that as one more punch comes in. And they find the kill on a King RD while also taking down that Dark Willow on the bottom lane.
Yeah, HFN's even being forced to... Oh, no, he's... Oh, God, this is such a bad death. He wasted his TP, too.
Oh, jeez. Trying to get the Bounty Rune to make up for it, but they put the kibosh onto that Taiga. Able to get the kill. So 4-1 start, Liquid. Off to a much better beginning of this game number 2.
Man, that really should never happen. Like, I don't know how that started, but that whole, like, situation should never... That should never be a thing. Where, like, you lose both of your heroes against a lane that has 1 stun.
Right.
Like, that can't happen. And now the mag's level 3. He's got no lane. He doesn't have a point in the skewer. And he's just gonna be forced to jungle now. This is really bad for paiN, honestly.
Looks like Liquid came up with all the answers so far. And whereas before it was all started by a really good laning phase, maybe they could come in and try and like steal this stack, which has grown really large for paiN. But
I mean, the Lush probably just comes up here from Liquid, I think.
Yeah.
At some point.
That's the scary part. Uh-oh, is King RD dead again?
Yeah, it's looking like it.
Oh, they chase him. Ooh, good catch, but no. Thunderstrike is going to be enough damage. Insania has just been a monster on this hero. He had no items, but now just queues up and gets boots and a windlace, as well as taking out that ward. All good things for Liquid.
Yeah, HFN's dead again, too.
Jesus. You're under tower to no avail. And then you look at this next move as well. You've got Insania going for the double stack while still staying out there on the map a little bit. Does manage to get both of them. Dude, that's some sick stuff. Look at these guys. Something good finally going the way of paiN here, as they're able to rotate with Mandy and get the kill onto Mickey. If they could clear through this stack, this would be like the best way to make it work.
I mean, they could do it, I guess. Yeah, when he has Flame Guard, they can do it. It'll be up in like a couple of seconds. Yeah, they need to do something though, because their safe lane got smashed. Oh, that Mango Tree is gonna die like real fast.
Yeah.
But I have to like rewatch this game and figure out what the hell happened bottom. Something is afoot at the Circle K, alright? That's all I'm gonna say.
There's some problems. They take down that tier 1 tower. They took mid already with the Lesh. And paiN just looked completely lost.
Well, they just need their 6s. Like, King RD just hit 6. The Wyvern still needs his. The Willow's level 3 at 8 minutes. It's, like I said, it's an experience thing. When they get their ults, the game will look a lot better for them, but they need to not give away, you know, too much more in that time.
Ooh, this is a big kill, though. If they can find and take down Quakefa here, which they will quite easily, and that's something you mentioned as well. There's some save, but not a ton on Liquid.
Yeah, if the Advo's not nearby and you get speared into the arena, you're not living through that, most likely.
Meantime, HFN just continuing to farm up. And that is something else for Liquid. They don't have the best heroes to, like, invade, to punish this, it feels like. Everybody's fairly passive on the Liquid lineup, with the exception of Lesh.
Well, they do have some heroes that have a tendency to play in the back, but having a disruptor makes that okay.
Right.
Because anytime someone overextends, as long as Insania is in the right place, he'll always be able to at least secure a kill with Glimpse. And that's kind of what your lineup needs. Because one pick with a Leshrac on your team usually turns into a tower. So if these two people are playing with each other, then they will always be able to get an objective after the fact. A little contention over the stack here. Foxy's ult gonna get popped. He can't stay here anymore. Yeah, he's gotta run.
Should allow them to finish that one off. Okay, getting one of the better items there in the trusty shovel. See if he passes that off to somebody else in the near future. Top lane Boxy's still skulking around, but they do get the slowdown. Know that he doesn't have the ulti available, and they're gonna try and pressure out this top tier 1 tower, it looks like. Although, actually no. Instead coming down bottom for Tagia. Does he want to drop the arena for this? Looks like yes. Well, quick catch, finds the spear there, and going to be able to take down this Rubik, it looks like, barring some tragedy. And actually, never mind. Quakefa shows up, and now they might all die themselves. The stun is going to connect now. They throw down the brambles, but they won't be able to follow that up with anything else.
Yeah, I think God's Rebuke actually doesn't hit if you're in Shadow Realm. Because it didn't look like it did any damage there. I'd have to watch it again, but it looked like it just didn't even hit him. So I'll have to look that up, or I'll like do a demo or something.
Okay.
So I can actually see, because that's an interaction that you don't really see very often. Because not a lot of people see, like no one plays Willow really. Like I very rarely ever see that hero.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Well, do you see?
I mean, paiN they're stabilizing. It's
Yeah.
not like. It wasn't like it was a couple of minutes ago where they're just losing everything, also dying, you know, losing buildings. Now it's kind of, it's evening out. They're getting their ults. HFN's gonna die.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But also, that's kind of what happens every now and then. You lose a hero, Glimpse, pretty good spell.
Yeah, but that's why we were talking about earlier that it's okay that, you know, Liquid's heroes are passive as long as they can have that disruptor where he needs to be. And he even knows his job in the game. Like this is a clear sign of a good support when he doesn't put more points into his queue because he knows that he is their team's kill.
Right.
Like if he doesn't have points in a Glimpse, they don't kill anyone there, right? If he was like 3-1-1 or even like 2-2-1, there's a chance that he would have been too far for that Glimpse to connect. Right. So it's not just being in the right place at the right time, it's also understanding your role in the game. So it's good stuff.
Well, there is going to be some movement down bottom. Thought it might have been a smoke, but it looks like paiN are just moving in to try and, I guess, retake the outpost, possibly? No, kind of not super...
They do have arena, but it doesn't look like the rest of paiN is really too interested in going down there right now.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. It's like their movement feels like they want to make something happen, but it's kind of hard to do things against this Liquid lineup with the fear of, you know, Static Storm after a sleep or whatever. Pretty spooky.
Yeah, walking into towers just against Disruptor in general is really scary. Because you know if the fight goes sour, you're going to lose more heroes than you want to.
Ember still playing very, very aggro right now. Does find Tagia. And decides he wants to stick around for a little bit. Sleight of Fist stolen. Doesn't have Flame Guard again for another couple of seconds. And as they bring in one, well, he's in some trouble now. That's the Static Storm immediately on top of him. Tries to TP away. That was never going to happen. And they just lose their Ember.
Yeah, that was overzealous. I mean, he did get out the Static Storm and the Song.
Right.
So he did force them to use abilities to kill him. But I don't know. I don't know if paiN's in one of those positions where you can really justify that type of play. Because the Ember is going to have to be the one later on in the game that deals with the Naga. The Naga's already really far ahead, like highest net worth. And we're kind of getting to that stage in the game where it's like, if you line up 8 online right now and you have all of your ults available, when does it come online?
Yeah. Well, maybe now. Andy just zoomed back on out to the same spot where he left his Remnant. And now paiN going to try and pressure this bottom side of the map. They have the Blink Dagger done for the Mars. This might be their time to go. You've got Winter Wyvern ultimate available. Everything's pretty much online at this stage as far as your ability to take some early fights.
Yeah, it's got to be soon. Because these types of lineups that are very heavily leaning towards magic damage, they fall off real quick when the game becomes like not completely even. Like this Abba is eventually going to finish a pipe. He's going Vlad's now. Once those items are out in the field, you know, your Willow spells, your Mars combo, they feel a lot less powerful. Here we go.
All right. They caught one. King RD is heading back across the other side of the map, and the rest of them, Static Storm drop down defensively. Does not mean that he's going to be able to get out of there, though, as Mandy continues his chase, gets some eyes, gets some vision. The root comes out. HFN finds the kill. Now, can they find any more? Taiga has some remnants to get away himself, though. And with 2 more still in the bank, they should be good to go. So they find 1 kill at least.
They get a kill and they stop the tower siege. It's important. Like, the Leshrac is another thing that you have to always be able to deal with. Like, he is very capable of getting out of control. His farms really quickly, already has bots. So getting kills on him, very, very big deal. But they need this mid tower to be dead, honestly. Like, paiN need to find a way to kill this mid tier 1. It just opens up so many opportunities on the map. Your Mars has that blink, like you mentioned earlier, to showcase it there to get the kill on Koikfa. But they need map control. Like, you can't just play against a Naga and a Lesh with bots and not control the map anywhere.
Right.
And a lot of the time we're watching them, you know, they're occupying their own jungle, they're occupying the triangle. Like, right now is the first point we've really seen them leave their side of the map minus the Ember. And we need to see much more of it if they want to win.
Well, and having this, like, Rubik with a super escape mechanism right now, like the Remnant away, it just means that, you know, you can't even punish this, right? Like, they're splitting up the map so many different ways. Naga has the Song away. You've got Remnant away for Taiga right now, and if anybody steps up to him, they actually have just a Static Storm to drop on somebody's face.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy.
Oh, God. Oh, Mandy. Oh, no. Mandy in some trouble. They have the Terrorize. Going to try and keep his buddy alive, but it's not going to happen. Oh. And a glimpse? Maybe? Doesn't have the mana yet. Ah, now he's got it. They pull back in that Dark Willow. Does have a TP away, but Koikfa is there. No, doesn't have the Stomp, though. Split Earth on cooldown.
Did he use it to kill a wave? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think so.
That's when you ping your mid player. Not like a lot, you just ping him once so he knows that you know.
The Splitter on cooldown. That's what you ping.
Gotta be ready for those +1s, you know?
Yeah.
We call it the 2-for-1 special. That's what Disruptor does best. And if you don't have your spells available, then you don't get the bonus.
Rough stuff. Alright, so 4-9, 4,000 gold lead with this Naga Siren in tow. Mickey is sort of soaring ahead of everybody else, and now paiN trying to make a play. Do they have a smoke or anything? Looks like they're going to group up and try and make something happen here with these 3.
I like activity. I like them being proactive. They are going to run into the worst hero, though, to find. This is not who you want.
Nah, smoke already broke, though. And they decide that's not actually a fight that we can take, so they will back out. Man. One of those moments where it's just like, what the hell are we supposed to do? paiN, Liquid are doing everything right.
I think, again, a lot of it is just the fact that this mid tower is alive. Like, this tower cannot be alive. Yeah. Because it's there, like, Liquid can play in a very safe manner, you know? They can always quickly TP react to anything that's happening on the map. They can leave their Naga bottom because they've warded for them. Like, paiN hasn't gone through the motions of, like, dewarding their own woods. Because whenever you play these styles of lineups where one hero is going to eat like half the map, you want to make sure that it's not your side.
Right.
You want to put them on the enemy side of the map to ensure that if they do rotate, they're not going to be able to immediately take an objective. And it's just, in general in Dota, it's always better to be the aggressor if you can be. So the fact that this area isn't dewarded and the mid tower is alive means that they can just play this style as long as they want. They're not being really forced into anything, and they smoke blind there at desperation. Oh my, King RD.
Oh, they got him caught. And again,
away.
Winter's Curse, maybe a chance for a turnaround here. They've got one caught. The second one, though, is going to be able to walk away for the moment. The Abba popping his ultimate. Photic Shield afterwards, but eventually they will be able to chase him down as they skewer back in closer. Quick Stealing Sleight of Fist, getting some extra vision. They have Song of the Siren if they want to take this fight that much further. Already draining away. No more mana left on HFN, but the Glimpse pulls back the Ember. It looks like finally they will stop the pressure. So kind of a decent fight there for paiN.
Yeah, that was okay. That was actually more than okay. The Mag RP was nice. Terrorize hit on top of it. Got the chain CC, even killed the Abba, which is probably the hardest hero to kill on their entire team, to be honest, and the Leshrac died as well. So all in all, for a trade, you're not going to get better than that right now if you're paiN. And I guess if the game stalls out, you do have the Mag Ember, so there's always that Empower, Sleight of Fist, with the Maelstrom, potentially goes for more damage later on.
Quakeva? Alone-ish? Moving in, they've got the arena already down, and Liquid making some questionable plays here. Song of the Siren to save the day for the moment, though. Quakeva needs to get out. They have still 2 more remnants left on this Ember, and he's got the chase forward if he wants to go for it. Connects, both of them there, but are they going to run into a Static Storm 6 seconds away for Disruptive? Buyback comes from the Rubik now. And now paiN, having gone a bit too far themselves, they get that ultimate down. Winter's Curse onto Mickey, still looking for the chase down. Insania has that Static Storm ready to drop it if they need to get it. King RD low, but not dead as of yet. Finally, Insania finishes off that kill as they take down that Wyvern to boot. Another one drops. HFN running forward, wants to find that follow-up kill onto Insania with the BKB out. Ember Spirit still doing good stuff. They buy back on the Disruptor now, as they know the BKBs are wearing off, still keeping this Ember under control. Mandy living through it, but HFN going to be shredded up. Terrorize, number 2, coming through, but only hits onto 1. They drop the Static Storm on top of the Ember to finish it. And Liquid will not back down from the team fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Storm was really necessary. They say it's the thought that counts, but I'm not sure there was much thought in that one, if we're being honest. Yeah, but no, the fight... It was a lot of resources that Liquid expend to fight that, right? Because it was double buyout, I believe.
Yeah.
Or was it one on each side? Insania and the Willow up back. Okay, so it was 1 for 1. That wasn't, I guess, awful at the end of the day. They do end up losing to tier 1, so ultimately Liquid are going to walk away with the win. And they'll also be able to just get the bot rune, which is a haste. Really good rune for the Lesh. I don't know. It feels like this game is actually still playable for paiN. Like, the fight was just very spread out,
Right.
Like, the Ember fully commits. He uses both his remnants. He doesn't have mana for the Searing Chain, so when he uses Slight, it's not able to help anyone else in his team catch up. And then, like, the Mars spears the Naga, but there's no follow-up damage. It just seems like the spell usage on paiN wasn't really that good in that situation, because they couldn't follow any of their stuns with damage.
Right. Well, and I think that part of that, too, is they're just really lacking that damage because Ember has not had a great game. You look at him right now, below all the other cores in the game right now, Mandy has not been able to accomplish what we saw from him in the previous series. Or rather, game.
It's a bit rough when you're playing against Disruptor and Naga, because one song just spells your doom. And in these types of games where, you're the guy that kind of really wants to make the plays, Liquid can totally justify just double ulting you every time.
Right. All right, the wraparound. King RD probably has an inkling that this is happening. Boxy finds him, sees the TP away, and they realize, yeah, we're safe. Keep this pressure on, take down that tier 2 tower, while paiN wait for their ultis to be up. And is there any other item they really want to try and wait for before the fight kicks off again?
Let's see. I mean, the Yules on Willow will be nice.
Maybe. They got the Naga Siren caught here. Gonna fear and walk into the wall a couple of times now. Static Storm is already down, though. Mickey nets, turns onto that Mars, destroys him. The RP, no, the stolen winner's curse though. They turn it against him after the RP, and with the aphotic shield coming off, they find the follow-up stun. Oh, Liquid, they are rolling right now. They do have the Song of the Siren coming out. Mandy dead. They're also going to lose the mag here. One by one, paiN going to lose their life. And Liquid can happy as clams.
Yeah, that's not the target you want. I mean, it's actually quite hard for paiN in the fights if the Abaddon is right next to whoever you're trying to initiate into. It kind of kills your combo, right? So like, you spear the Naga into the arena, she takes some damage, gets shielded, then a defensive static storm comes out from Insane on top of Mickey to ensure that there's no more follow-up damage. And then after that, it's like your buttons are down. Like, you can't take that fight anymore. I think the Abba is like, from a defensive standpoint, it's just stopping them from getting every single kill that they want because it's a combo-based team. Right. You have to use Arena of Valor into the Terrorizer. You have to use, the Arena into an RP or something like that. And Abba is just a combo breaker hero. That's just what he does. So I'm not really sure what the solution to that is right now for paiN. I thought that maybe the longer fights might favor them because they have an Ember, but Mandy just keeps dying in the beginning of the fights. So instead of getting like, 5, 6 lights off during an engagement, he gets stunned once and then he falls over and then there's no more damage.
Well, and the other downside to having a lineup that's pretty heavily based around your ultimates for paiN is that when Rubik steals them, it turns around real quickly. They lose him. Down bottom, still hanging on to that winner's curse for Rubik. As mid lane, are they going to go in here too? It feels like Liquid don't really care what they're doing on the side of paiN because they just keep killing him. 4-4 had the blink, but he can't get outside of range for the glimpse. And, well, Liquid feeling themselves. After a disappointing game number 1, they are looking quite good in game number 2.
Yeah, their draft had kind of fixed some of the problems they had in the first one, where they had this really kind of like helpless safe laner who couldn't play the game on his own and had an IO that couldn't really play the map, and then they had an offlane that was getting crushed. This game, they did well in all 3 other lanes, which is always a good sign. But on top of that, they have good ways of taking fights, they have good ways of pressuring towers. Like their lineup just feels overall more solid, and that allows them to play the way that they want to play. Because no matter how skilled you are as a player, some lineups just don't work.
Right.
Like, you need catch, you need stuns, you need a way to pressure towers. Quick
Speaking of catch, oh god, gotta be careful.
God,
Insania's coming in. They got them all caught. Oh, to jump away. They faked him out, and the RP pulls him in from HFN. Is it going to be the turnaround that they need? Quite possibly it could be. Although Boxy's still living through this one. They have that cold embrace, and now the winner's curse to turn it back around. Is this looking okay as Mickey calls my bad? Sorry guys, I thought we had it. The Remnant forward chases down, kills off Quakefa. Now Mickey gonna try and escape. Can they get out? That is the question. Mandy still got him in their sights, has the chains available, but no more remnants, and that means they cannot go any further. So still getting the tier 3 tower, but they lose a lot on the way out.
Yeah, that was almost a disaster for paiN. I think the Disruptor was slightly too far away to like get all the spells off correctly that he wanted to. If he was if he had his cast range talent, I think that might have gone a little bit differently. But unfortunately, he doesn't have it right now, so he wasn't able to get the Storm off in time. It was a nice RP. It was a nice combo play coming in, too, when they got the Winter's Curse off, and then they skewer the Lesh into the tier 4s to make sure that like no one can help him and he can't get out.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, Liquid still get the racks, but it was a valiant defense from paiN.
Well, the other thing, though, that I do want to keep my eyes on is paiN is starting to get some items. Like, Mandy's been eyeing up this Radiance for a while, and he almost has the Relic done. I don't know how much that changes things necessarily, but it's a good damage boost, and that's what they need.
Well, it's another way of dealing with illusions, and if you stay alive long enough, Radiance is always going to be useful. Just because, the longer you're alive, the more Radiance ticks you get, and the illusions from the Naga just kind of like get weaker over time. But it may be a little too late. I'm not 100% sure. This Abba's already got Pipe, and he's making his way towards Aghanims on top of that. So that these heroes a lot of the time when you get Radiance, you want it to be very scary for the supports. But it's not really going to be that scary because the Rubik has like 1700 HP and the Disruptor has like 2k life.
Yeah.
The Radiance burn isn't really going to bother them too much.
Yeah, they need those long, extended team fights, which at this point feels like that's only going to benefit the Naga, to be honest.
Well, it's also because the Leshrac just does so much damage.
Right.
Like, the long fights don't happen often because you're just dead. So the Pulse Nova just chunks you down, you know, it's 180 damage a second. It's no small number, especially when your team, I don't believe right now that they have any sort of aura item, though. They don't have a pipe or anything. So these heroes, you know, the Wyvern's, you know, 1400 health, the Willow's 1200 health. If that guy is even near you, you're just gonna be dead.
I gotta stay way, way, way back. Which, thankfully, he's got the telescope, so, you know, you can see him from far there.
Do you think he can see a path to victory with that telescope?
I mean, if there's any way to do it, it's with the telescope, right? You gotta believe.
Maybe it's a bait. Maybe it's a kaleidoscope instead, and it's just a blurry vision. You're like, what the hell is this?
Guys, I don't know what to do. Just looks like we're gonna lose. We'll see. I think that, like you said earlier, there's that, you know, the potential. And whenever you've got these, like, giant team fight-oriented lineups, things could turn around in a heartbeat. But the danger is, then you have moments like this where Mickey is just like, come and deal with me. What are you gonna do? Terrorize? Walk away? Stolen terrorize? That's not good. Now he's still probably gonna die. They glimpse him back in. Oh no! He just gave him his ultimate and then dies. Oh, this one's rough.
Yeah, it's these types of lineups when you can't really take the team fight and your team is so heavily invested in a team fight.
Yeah.
It's a real unfortunate situation. It's similar to what we saw earlier when who was it? EG that we were casting. And there was just this game where you're invested in one aspect of Dota, and then as soon as you can't do that one thing, your lineup becomes kind of useless.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what's happening to paiN here.
Oh God, the fear. And he is afraid for a very long time. But it looks like he should be able to get away. Disruptor does have glimpse. Do they get vision? Just outside of range. But instead, over to the side here, King RD, he also is going to be able to get out in time. So they are able to swap out of the lane real quickly before the rotations come for the kill. Naga's still playing completely alone on the other side of the map, which...
I mean, it's hard for them to know that, right? Because they have no obs.
Yeah.
There's 0 wards on the map. This is why it's so important to maintain map control, because all Mickey really has to do is play that triangle, and he can send his illusions top to cut the wave, and then he can just kill mid wave. And if, you know, no vision means no kill.
Uh-oh. Pull in. HFN already somewhat low. They have that arena down. Radiance is online, but having already used the Arena of Blood and still holding on to no Terrorize yet to use, it's looking a little bit spooked.
I don't think Liquid are really in any rush to end the game. I don't think there's... I mean, I suppose there's always a chance to win, but I don't think that they're worried about the game going too long, and that's why they lose, you know?
Right.
Like, Disruptor scales well with the Aghanims. Like, Insania's actually almost got his. And then Leshrac obviously scales great. He just got his BKB, lots of magic AoE damage. Naga still can work towards another inventory slot and Aghanims, which is very good this game because you can song and heal people while like Curse and stuff is out, or the Arena.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things that they can get.
I mean, like you mentioned, though, the one thing that's maybe a little bit worrying, and you see it in Naga Siren lineups, is you get maxed out on this hero, and then the rest of your cores don't end up with as much farm. And you can see, like, Mag's ahead of Lesh, Ember's ahead of the Abba. You've got Mars that's still down there a ways, but it's mainly the Naga that makes up this net worth lead. So if you can find a way to isolate her and blow her up, which is easier said than done, obviously, then maybe you got a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but it's going to be a rough road. And if anything, what paiN needs to happen is they need a hill fight, like a fight where, you know, Liquid are going in, they're overextending, and then you get, like you mentioned, the big wombo combo, and that's going to be the way that they win an engagement. But a straight out fight, where you're on even ground, it's very, very difficult for paiN because all of their heroes are basically spellcaster heroes. And like BKBs are out. Tensek and BKB on Lesh. The Naga is going to be working her way probably towards Heart. She's got an enormous amount of HP. There's already Pipe and Aghanims out on the Abba, which means he's going to be just like passively healing people. Like there's so much, honestly, right now that paiN have to accomplish in order to turn this game.
And they can't even break through and force the ulti out of Boxy. It does feel like this is the wait for Roche, and then if you're Liquid, try and end the game type of lineup. Or even just take down the rest of the tier 3s, give them megas, do whatever you want. But obviously, in this type of group stage format, GSL, every game matters so much. Can't afford to take any chances and try and push high ground early. Otherwise, bad things can happen very rapidly.
Yeah. There's no reason really for them to rush it, is basically what I would say.
Yeah.
Because if they walk up the hill and they mess it up, then it turns really badly, and they can just wait for the next objective. Okay, they're gonna RP here.
RP, stolen RP, no, stolen skewer. The Fissure forward able to catch him onto it and blow up Mickey. Just like that, and now the Winter's Curse fall up. It's gonna pull him in even closer. Who are gonna be caught? They drop down the Static Storm, but King RD able to push him back the other direction, and one by one, Liquid start to lose their heroes. Mandy chasing forward with that Radiant Skewer, looking for more. Boxy, they know that he doesn't have his ultimate anymore. With the chains available, Mandy does manage to connect there, but the Aphotic Shield comes out, and Roche is now up. No Disruptor for 60 seconds.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have buyback because he just bought his Ags, right? So he's got no gold.
Holy Toledo.
I mean, their team kills this very slowly.
You're not wrong.
Alright, they're going to buy back the Naga. How much are they willing to commit to this, paiN?
I mean, they don't have the Static Storm, though. I don't know. I mean, it's not really like Liquid can take this without fear either, right? I mean, this is
they're out of
scary.
ults. That's the thing. Like, they know there's no RP. They know there's, like, the curse is going to be up soonish, but they know for a fact that there's no RP. And that's going to be the big one.
Okay. Well, they force out the buyback on the Naga Siren. A good fight for them there. But does this change the complexion of the game at all for you?
I mean, here's the thing. If they have to expend every R button to win a fight, and then they can't take an objective,
right?
And then the next time that the enemy team fights them, those R buttons that they use to kill that hero comes back to life. What's their fight win condition? I mean, the only thing they can do is just have a bunch of buybacks and like fend them off by spending their money to bring more heroes. That's basically what's going to happen. If Liquid force the high ground engagement, I guess you go for like the Blink Skewer, maybe into like a Spear, get some super fancy, like put some hero in the well play. But that to me is like the only thing.
Yeah.
Because that whole Skewer, the Naga play, and then win the fight based off of that isn't going to work if the guy just respawns.
True. No, it's definitely true. I mean, and I guess that you're still in this lineup for paiN that wants to be accelerating fast and playing fast and winning fights over and over and over again. So they're already playing from a position that they don't want to be in. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. Still a 14,000 gold lead. And Dota Plus quite heavily favoring Liquid, as you would imagine in this game. But a couple signs of life here and there. We'll see how Liquid try and close this one out. I mean, at this point, they've already got Aegis. Like, is it worth it just to sort of farm up and get that next tier of items?
Well, the Naga is very close to Heart, so a couple hundred more gold, and Mickey will have that extra tankiness. He can start using his illusions to siege. I mean, the Ranger Axe mid is still alive. You can just whittle that down. You can start hitting the tier 3s in the side lanes. You have a full contain on Radiant, so you don't really need to rush it.
Yeah.
They had like the worst case scenario. Their Naga died, their Disruptor died, no buyback, and then they just take Roche immediately after that because paiN had to expend so much just to kill the one guy.
Yeah, while the Disruptor was still dead, they take the Roche. There's no fear. So they're clearing through the next round of creep waves, and Mickey, as you mentioned, Going to finish off the heart at this point if he wants to take it. Oh, Satanic.
Oh, Satanic. Okay. Yeah, that's good too. Status resistance very strong against obviously RP, Winter's Curse, all that kind of stuff.
Illusions can lifesteal now too, so that's kind of nifty.
Yeah, this is a really strong timing here for Liquid. They get a really big item on the Naga, they get the Octarine Core on the Koikfa. This guy's got 3,000 HP. He's got that lifesteal now from the Octarine Core. He can just walk up the hill.
Ooh, Phonic Shield, able to sidestep there, not get caught out. And HFN still looking for a pullback in, but he does not have Skewer again for 7 seconds. And really, you can't afford to go. Oh, never mind. RP lifted up. Stolen RP in some trouble. And now the follow-up terrorized onto 2. What are they going to do? Any more chase down? If they want to jump in, Taiga, he has that RP available to him. Careful, careful. RD gonna pop his BKB and turns to fight. And I don't know what happened there, but they're not gonna pull back in Koikfa. Oh, God. Oh, no. This is looking really scary. Taiga's just waiting off to the side. He's still ready to jump in. If they give him an opportunity, Static Storm already down there onto a couple of them. All grouped up. The RP connects there onto all 3, but where's the follow-up? There isn't anything as of yet. Able to steal away and a heck of a lot of damage coming in from Koikfa. Mandy trying to stand large and in charge as they get the buyback on absolutely everybody, but now this Ember Spirit running out of mana, and they can't chase. They can't do anything. It's just all the buybacks in the world and a tip for Taiga, who made the RP happen.
I mean, that was an amazing play by Taiga, but as much as it was good by him, it was really bad from HFN not to bring BKB there.
Yeah.
Like, they had a ward and a sentry in the base when Liquid took that fight. So you can't assume that you're going to be able to get your full combo of spells off without anything being cast on you. You have to BKB. Like, that's why that whole thing happens. Like, instead of getting a 2-hero RP where he kills the Disruptor, it's now a stolen RP, and his team getting 3-man RP.
Well, now in some trouble again. They're trying to take down a couple, no RP available. They're burning down to about half HP, but this is before Boxy even pops his ultimate if they need to use it. There is no way that paiN fighting a kill here, as instead it might be Mandy that goes down instead. The Fear actually pushing him closer now to that Ember Spirit. Stolen Fear again. Mandy tries to run away, is going to be able to make it happen. Koikfa kills off 2 in the back lines, and they manage to catch him with the Stolen Fear and kill him off one more time again, because why not?
I believe that might be what we call GG.
Liquid feeling good after a very disappointing game number 1, and, well, they come back in game number 2 and basically say, just a draft problem, solve the issues, come back in, take care of business. They're looking solid. Triple Remnant forward, lift up, pull back in. King RD, stolen Arena of Blood. Can they kill him off in time? RD's just going to BKB and walk away from them. They also have been able to find this Magnus on the other side, and GG finally called. We're going to a game 3.
All right. So a stomp into another slower stomp, I guess, is the name of the game here. But yeah, like you said, Liquid, they fixed a lot of their draft issues, I think, from game 1 to game 2. This time around, they actually had the ability to take fights. I don't know how this happens, but it seems like a lot of teams right now, they'll do like one draft where they just pick like Warlock, Rubik, Omni, and you go, well, you better have some really good cores to make use of this Omni, otherwise the game's going to be real hard, and they just don't. Yeah. And the next game, they first face Disruptor, and they just own.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the story. First game, bad draft. Second game, pick Disruptor, win. Third game, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, who knows? It'll be interesting to watch. I'm really excited to see the rest of this series, and also just in general the major. I feel like we've had some pretty cool games. Like, some of them have been a little bit on the slower side, but it's still interesting to watch, like, that evolving ideas of what's happening in the games, right? Because there's so many like scrims that are going on behind the scenes, and then it's like, all right, let's see these ideas and which ones actually pan out. Any final words before we go to a break, Mr. Andy?
I hope the third game is a close game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back in a little bit with game number 3 as paiN Gaming face off against Team Liquid. Be back in a bit.